Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 431. Today is Sunday, December 18th, 2022, and I'm glad you could join me today. It's a beautiful day, but I probably won't be partaking in it. I've been fighting a pretty nasty cold. You'd think by now it would be over. So we've got hot liquids and lukewarm liquids, and would it be? We'll see how everything comes together. But knowing that it was gonna be a good long while before I could record again, I'm like, oh, whatever. Do it now. Get it over with. It'll be fine. So that is the story there. But yeah, no, it's it's definitely, or whatever. On one hand, it has forced me to slow down and not get sucked into a crazy frenetic pace that doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, I really don't want to be like sick and flying, so whatever, we'll figure it out eventually. But I definitely needed to have a podcast because I have a finished thing. Yay! Ends woven in and everything. So I think I was showing the mostly bound off version of this, but would it be? I think my challenge with showing this bad boy off is that it really is more of the big curve style, I think. I don't know. Or I just really desperately need to block it. I have not had time. So, like, this edge wants to be very, very, very curly, but then you sort of want to hold it out like a normal triangle, too. So, it would be. Or there's a terrible, terrible flaw with how I designed this. Oh, there is one end that I need to find. Or there's some sort of horrible, terrible flaw with the increases that I selected, and there's no way for it to lay flat. So, I think when we were talking last time, I looked at my ball of yarn and then realized I needed to change my bind off. The goal was to do an I-cord where I didn't bind off every stitch but every other, and so that can make a very loose but a very stretchy but structured edge, so it doesn't look messy. But when I showed you guys last week, I had gotten past the halfway point, which meant that I did have enough yarn to do the bind off the other way, and then I just had this itty bitty teeny weeny nugget of yarn, probably approximately this size. So this is how much yarn I have remaining by doing a contrast bind off on the shawl. So normally I've called it brioche drops. I probably need to change the name. I ended up meeting someone, or would it be the case where one of the women in my San Francisco knitting group works at the local yarn shop, and she invited me to the knitting group, and to pass the filter of Leanne is to whatever. It is a very important filter if someone comes by and asks about a knitting group, and then she has to assess, is this person okay to bring? So someone was visiting from Brooklyn and was like, hey, I just really need to go to a knitting group. And so she was like, "Oh," she was working on a brioche project while she was with it. Like, "I'll test knit." So we'll see whether or not anything comes together, because I think the true test will be blocking. And then also, I think there would have been enough yarn had I had 8 ounces instead of 6 in order to do a full repeat of the last chart. Like, it transitions really nicely, so I'm not too worried about it. And then actually the transition is pretty nice for the end. It isn't really a big deal that there wasn't at all. And then the center, let's see, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. The center isn't necessarily consistent throughout, so like it shifts a little bit. Excuse me. So it may need a proper name, but it is definitely a good size shawl already. And then because I did more of the crescent-y shaping, you do end up getting a shawl that does lay very nice this way. But yeah, no, it is pretty much wingspan. I think I was hoping for longer tails for this one. I don't think it's long. It's not quite long enough to do like the tie behind the back thing. And because it has a center point, one can just do it more bandana style. And when you end up doing it more bandana style, then you end up just seeing different parts of it depending on what's going on. So not too crazy there. And I did finish before the start of the 2022 Hipstring Space 12 spin along, because the multicolored fiber in this is from the 2021 spin along, in which I did 1 ply in the order of the order of the spin along, and then another ply I randomized. So that gave me, or would it be, I think what I ended up doing was sort of, for the most part, mixed the neutrals with the jewel tones when I applied it. But the very edge of this shawl is jewel on jewel, and it's sort of fabulous too. And definitely a highlight that you can see, so I think I made a good choice in terms of starting color. Where the starting color ended up being a blue on blue for some reason. Oh, because I applied every last bit of it. And then the background color is a Mama Silk blend from Greenwood Fiberworks. It was labeled as alpaca, but alpaca doesn't have guard hairs. So very, very cool there. And sort of, this was an interesting note from the Nancy Marchant book. Like, if we wanted the darker, gothier version, that's totally an option. It's just the pattern doesn't tend to sort of shine through as clearly when you have the darker color as the main color for some reason, which I found to be interesting. But if you're feeling goth, you can. So, and then I still because the very end of it was just knit with the hip strings by itself, because I had 6 ounces of that, you still get the bright Julie pop from there too. So I'll have to show it again when I block it. I was hoping to get it blocked, and then I had the cold. And I feel like I haven't been sick with a cold like that in a very long time, and that cold was worse. Yeah, my spouse hung out with some people who were in the aquarium hobby. They were a husband wife who were like a principal and a teacher, and when an illness takes people who work with children down, that is an illness that no mere mortal can withstand. Yeah, that happened, I think, in 2019. That was bad. So that is the story there. It'll probably end up being a lot of fun pulling guard hairs from the llama, but it's fine. Would it be? I do. Or would it be? And the dark color does have sort of that silver, a foresty green, and a blue in it, but that's hard to show off. Like, would it be? Yeah, it just reads sort of as charcoal from here. But yeah, you can see the pattern. It just isn't quite as clear on the darker side, whereas on the light side, it's very crisp. So we shall see what blocking does to finish this bad boy. This I-cord edge is pretty sturdy, so it'll probably be a fun block. But I have to like clear the entire bed in order to get that going, and so there's just fleece and fiber everywhere in here right now. Whatever. So, still no progress on the Scheherazade. I still have not reconciled how a 20 stitch repeat becomes a 36, but it is still here and gorgeous and wonderful, and that's where all of those stitch markers went. Okay. Sometimes it's good to open bags. Normally, because I am a semi-monogamous knitter, certainly probably can't count on the polygamous end. So it's always a fun surprise when you're like, oh, that's where they went. Okay, because normally I would be opening all of my bags on the regular. But such is life. So because that shawl's still cursed, have I emailed the designer yet? No, but it's cursed. I started stock. Now, would it be? I have to be fair, I've been sick, so there have definitely been some days where I have not knit at all, which is like, who am I? Who am I? What's going on? So I believe this is some SSK fiber. I think this is Into the World in Tinkerbell's Unmentionables. I think so. I spun this as a cable as a part of my great sock yarn experiment of 2018, I'm guessing. And I am knitting a simple skip sock, but I had made a modification to the pattern so that I'm not skipping every other row, but every third row. which is fun and festive to do because I'm knitting in the round, so it's not that important. This is why I don't like knitting cables in the round, because it's ambiguous to tell if you've been 3, 4, or 5 rows. But it's not too bad to do here. But honestly, the skip is sort of like a cable light anyways. Bring it in close. Come on, focus. There we go. So honestly, you can sort of see the pattern. The pattern, what would it be? This is pretty busy. I'm pretty sure I made this as, I know I did a fractal spin on it. So it is, very colorful. There's like a yellow, a purple, a blue, and sort of a teal in here. And so all of these colors are sort of all mixed up. Though I will say, looking at my urn structure, I didn't get a perfect cable in the part I'm knitting right now. So there's that. What's less clear to me now is will I start another project? Because like having excuse me, having a pretty small project has been nice. Probably means I need to rejigger after, and having the brioche drops on the needle since July. Would it be? It's very strange to be needing to knit something new, and sort of got into a groove with what I was doing. So it'll be fine. It's just the case where I'm like, well, how long is this project gonna last me? This, I think, mostly just depends on how much time I get to knit. So I am having a hankering to start a hat, but that's not gonna take very long either. So then, what would it be? And then I still also have the yarn floating around somewhere, for the very luxurious shawl. Yeah, so it's, yeah. It'll be, so it's unclear to me which way I want to go. Or if I do want to start a sweater project, just because I know that'll be, I probably don't want to start a sweater project because I feel like it took so long, or it took so long to finish the shawls. I'm like, get a couple of quick things out of the way, have the satisfaction of finishing, and then put my sights on something big. So that's I think where I'm at right now. Would it be? It's clear to me I will not be finishing my spin the bin in time. Because would it be? Yeah. Speaking of sweater projects, so I still have this bobbin hanging out here. It is gorgeous and mostly blue, but also got the earth tones in it, which is fun. But I just finished yesterday the merino silk portion of my hip string sample. Like, we haven't even started the base 12 spin along yet. And so I have 5 more half-ounce little bits to go. The next one going on the wheel is this one, which is I think this is Tarky Bamboo Silk. It looks like I was spinning a rather solid part of it. Maybe even somewhere around here is the key. Alright, I see that I have bag 6 empty, so this seems very likely that I'm on track. So it feels like there's a lot of backed up spinning. So, as you do, could I be doing more of it? Whatever. I've prioritized my free time in an amusing way. So these are the singles here. Will it focus? Can I bring it closer? So, it's very pretty. So then it's like, this is like a gray merino and the silk is the white, so it's very gorgeous. I'm planning on, the plan is to apply it together. I don't know, like, I think my plan from a while ago was doing 4, 5, 6 as a 3-ply, which is where I pulled it off the wheel and made it a center pull ball. So we shall see how everything comes together. Would it be? I'm probably overestimating how much free time I'm actually going to have in the coming weeks, so there's that. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm starting my Christmas vacation a little bit early this year, but I'm also, I might have accidentally started my Christmas vacation early just because I am sick, but it hasn't been pleasant time. It was more like sleeping. I wrapped Christmas presents one day. Pro tip, do not select wrapping paper with vertical lines because it will clearly expose that you're not all the way with it. Like, maybe you're the type of person where if you have lines then it makes you more straight, but having those lines just made me look very crooked. So yeah, where to be. So it's just like mega fiber chaos in here. You probably need to tame it just like a little bit. Would it be? It'd be the case where one of the ponderings of the day was so tomorrow is supposed to be my San Francisco Knitters little holiday party where we have a potluck. We all bring baked goods, and then it's like, I don't even, like, if I am in this state today, do I even want to go in? So it may, like, I've been oscillating wildly back and forth. It was the case where it was like, yes, I can come. No, I can't come. Yes, I can come. And we might just be ending it. No, I can't come. What it be? Because, yeah, I don't want anyone to get this cold. Yeah, so it may just be the case where my body decided that I needed to take a break. and it will not let me not take a break until it is done. So, as you do. But I'm hoping that I can get one more pass on the drum carder done on this guy. So this is my bat that I showed last time. It's gonna be very pretty. So I'm like getting one more pass in, feeding into the drum carder in a way where I can get sort of the most carding of my yarn scraps. So so that's sort of where my mind's at now. Was I pulled everything out because I was thinking I was going to do it last night, and then I got into bed. I didn't go to sleep early, but I did go to bed. I did get into bed. Yeah. But it'd be the case where if I finish that last pass of carding, then I can clean my drum carder, and then I can put that stuff away, and it sort of unblocks some of the things that are unfinished right now. Sort of like need to get some stuff off the bed so that I can put my blocks out on the bed and block my shawl. So that's just the case where it's like you have to figure out where the like what's preventing me from moving forward on something and going from there. So yeah, and maybe I'm a little bit bummed because I have wanted to participate in the base 12 spin along, but they end up starting at 6 Pacific, and so that is primo, not that it takes an hour to get the baby to bed, but that time tends to be pretty busy making sure all of his needs are taken care of before we can put him to bed. So I want to join in, but it's an all hands on deck experience. So I don't know, we'll figure something out, or it may just be the case where I watch the replay and call it good. Yeah, because I haven't even opened anything yet. I don't know. Like, it's been going on for 5 days now. Let's open one. Let's open one and see. It's very gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous it is. Totally my aesthetic. Maybe a little pale for my aesthetic, but I do like the many shades of blue. It's almost a little bit like one of the sky blue is sort of leaning a little bit purple on me. So what I'm thinking of doing this year is actually doing a 3-ply, and so I think it'll be the case where I'll spin 1 ply in the intended order. Oops. 1 ply in the intended order, and then 2 plies rolling the dice. We'll see. I think that will be fun. Okay. The official start is December 12th. We have the key. I probably don't care too much about the surprise aspect of it, but I'll try not to be a spoiler. So this will be a lot of fun, and I figure I need to get on it at some point, but yeah, we're a couple of days. So we'll see how long everything takes and that sort of thing. Obviously, my 6-ounce project that I've been working on since July is also Rotovy. We could probably just say things have tremendously slowed down since July, as you do. So we'll figure something out. It'll be fine. In terms of recording schedule, I am planning on recording again in 2 weeks. Hopefully I will be more healthy. I'll be more healthy tomorrow, but it isn't looking good. And maybe I will chat with my San Francisco knitting peeps about whether or not I should even try. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.